What up, Space Fam? Golden here for AnimeUproar, and today we are talking about the amazing Giyu. Definitely one of my favorite characters in Demon Slayer. I said that I'll start working on this video as soon as we hit 4,000 likes on the How Strong is Inosuke video, and we hit that in less than a day. So here I am, right back at it again with a new How Strong Is video. We had a vote on Instagram at AnimeUproar for who the next video would cover. Thousands voted, and Giyu ended up winning over Muzan by a pretty large margin. I guess Giyu is more popular with fans than he is with other pillars. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because if you don't, you won't get notified when future Demon Slayer videos come out. As with the last two times, as soon as the video hits 4,000 likes, I'll start working on the next one ASAP. And as with last time, I set up a vote via Instagram stories where you can help decide whether I cover Muzan or Rengoku next. You can find the link to our Instagram at AnimeUproar in the description and in the pinned comment below. Make sure you're following us there, because I will be doing many more of these votes in the future. Let the games begin. If you didn't realize yet, there will be manga spoilers in this video, since I'll be looking at all of the relevant evidence to help me determine how strong Giyu is. Now without further ado, let's jump into it. In the beginning, Giyu is 19 and then 21 after the time skip. He often wears a serious look on his face and has trouble communicating with others. Nevertheless, he's proficient when it comes to kicking butt. He makes an appearance in the very first chapter of the Demon Slayer manga. He is the OG OP pillar. He tries to save Tanjiro by killing Nezuko, but Tanjiro stops him. At this point, Giyu is way more powerful than Tanjiro. He's so quick that he steals Nezuko from Tanjiro's arms in the blink of an eye before Tanjiro even realizes what happened. Ironically, it is Giyu who convinces Tanjiro to fight him, and Tanjiro almost lands a surprise attack on Giyu, but Giyu notices in time and avoids the thrown hatchet. Demon Nezuko uses this moment to escape his grasp and moves to protect Tanjiro. Although Giyu could easily kill both of them at this point, he lets Nezuko live because he can see that she's different from the other demons. He does one of those cool karate chops to the neck and puts Demon Nezuko to sleep like it was nothing. He leaves after telling Tanjiro to go see the former water pillar. We have to wait until the Demon Spider family arc to see one of my favorite flexes in Demon Slayer. First, Giyu helps Inosuke with the father spider demon, who is arguably the physically strongest member of the family. His pre-transformation skin was tough, but after his transformation, Inosuke's blades simply break when he tries to cut him. That's how tough this demon skin is. Or at least his skin seemed to be uncuttable until Giyu shows up. As Inosuke points out, Giyu is on a completely different level. He cuts through the demon as if he was tofu, aka effortlessly. In contrast to the super energetic and loud Inosuke, Giyu does all this quickly and silently, never changing the fixed expression on his face. Then when the almost dead Inosuke starts challenging him to a fight, Giyu is quick enough to tie him up with rope and hang him off a tree branch without Inosuke even noticing what's happening until it's all over. All Inosuke can do afterwards is comment on how quick Giyu is. But even more than this moment, I appreciate the way Giyu deals with Lower Moon 5 Rui. Episode 19 of the anime, where Tanjiro unlocked the Dance of the Fire God and Nezuko unlocked her Blood Demon art, was arguably one of the best anime episodes of the year. It was extremely hype. After struggling so much, both Tanjiro and Nezuko unlocked new powers. They used these powers together in order to make the final attack all the more powerful. Then they seemingly succeed in cutting off Rui's head in a glorious moment of cinematic ecstasy. It was a brilliant victory, except it wasn't actually a victory at all. We find out in the next episode that Rui survived by detaching his own head with his strings way before Tanjiro could cut him. Rui was wrecking Tanjiro and Nezuko the whole time, and even their new strongest tag team attack did no damage to Rui. Rui truly seems like an unstoppable beast at this point. Enter Giyu. As Rui's powerful strings are closing in to kill Tanjiro, Giyu drops in and cuts through them no problem, saving Tanjiro in the process. He tells Tanjiro to leave the rest to him. Rui launches his most powerful attack to date and sends it at Giyu. Giyu responds not by avoiding the attack, but by just standing there. He uses his original breath of water technique called Lull, which unravels all of Rui's strings before they can even reach Giyu. Rui is shocked that Giyu somehow stopped his attack without moving a muscle. All the screaming, upgrades, and effort possible couldn't help Tanjiro and Nezuko beat Rui, and here's Giyu making Rui look completely powerless. Before Rui can even launch another attack, Giyu cuts his head off with the same unchanged look on his face. He looks bored as he effortlessly defeats this demon that gave our main characters so much trouble. It goes without saying that Giyu's blade was too fast for Rui to detach his own head in time. This is arguably when Giyu's strength seems the most impressive, because of the huge gap between his own power and the power of Inosuke, Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Rui. However, as with most OP characters, Giyu can't stay OP forever. The main characters have to improve, and increasingly strong enemies have to show up to keep things interesting. So let's fast forward to Tanjiro and Giyu's fight with Upper Moon 3 Akaza, where the limits of Giyu's powers are tested. By this point, Giyu is amazed at how far Tanjiro has come. Even at the beginning of the battle, Giyu mentions that Tanjiro's power matches that of a pillar. Both grow during the battle. Akaza is someone so strong that he manages to overwhelm Giyu, despite the fact that no one's done that in a long while. This life and death struggle increases Giyu's skills and causes his Demon Slayer mark to manifest. Giyu is impressive, and for a good while, Giyu is able to match Akaza's blows. However, Giyu eventually realizes that his slices are too shallow, and then Akaza punches his sword and breaks it. Akaza does compliment Giyu on how long he lasted, but even with the demon mark, Giyu is just no match for Akaza. Even Lull can't absorb Akaza's attacks. Giyu must be saved by Tanjiro, who now has access to the see-through world and has awakened a new and extremely OP non-self state. As Akaza mentions, Tanjiro has reached the supreme state that he always wanted to reach. Tanjiro uses this state to cut off Akaza's head before he can respond. However, Akaza catches his head and tries to put it back. Giyu throws his broken sword at the head and it falls to the ground. However, Akaza starts fighting with no head. Tanjiro, who's reached his limit, faints, and Giyu is ready to defend him with his life. After the amount of damage Giyu's taken, it's extremely impressive that he can still stand and try to fight, even though he's obviously outmatched. Luckily, Akaza regains his memories and decides to self-destruct and stop regenerating, even though he reached a stage where he could have grown his whole head back like Muzan. Akaza uses the annihilation technique he used against Rengoku on himself rather than on Tanjiro and Giyu. This technique was called Destructive Death Annihilation Type, and it mortally wounded Rengoku, although he didn't immediately die from it. So that is what we've seen from Giyu so far. With the manifestation of the mark, he's stronger than he's ever been before. Finally, against Akaza, he's been pushed beyond his limits in a way he hasn't been pushed up to now. However, despite the fact that he's stronger than ever, he doesn't seem as OP as he used to. In this battle, Tanjiro seemed to have surpassed him in power, if not in endurance. After all, while Giyu could barely scratch Akaza's neck, Tanjiro was quick and strong enough to cut off his head. He even warned Akaza, and Akaza still couldn't stop him. We can't just explain Tanjiro's successful attack by saying that Akaza couldn't sense him, because Akaza was looking at him. He saw him coming and he still couldn't do anything to stop the attack. It is worth mentioning though that Tanjiro fainted while Giyu was still standing and fighting, but when he was fighting, he wasn't nearly as strong as Tanjiro was in his non-self state. In terms of strength, we know that Giyu is strong, but for the purposes of this video, we need to try to clarify how strong he is exactly. For the time being, it seems clear that Giyu is not on Akaza's level or even on Tanjiro's level right now. It's no small accomplishment that he was able to last as long as he did against Akaza, but the fact is that he was fighting a losing battle, even though he could occasionally rely on Tanjiro's help, and Akaza didn't even use his annihilation technique that he used to give Rengoku a mortal wound. I would for the time being though put him above Zenitsu and Inosuke. Although Zenitsu beat an Upper Moon by himself, Kaigaku was the weakest Upper Moon, and on top of that, he was not used to his powers. In contrast, Akaza was an extremely strong opponent, and one can even argue that he would have become stronger than Upper Moon 2 Doma if he let his head grow back. Giyu wasn't as powerful as Akaza, but I think he fared better than Zenitsu or Inosuke would have at this point. Even with Tanjiro, we should keep in mind that although his power temporarily spiked in his new state, he couldn't maintain that state for long, while Giyu fought an impressively long time without reaching his body's limit and passing out. And that is how strong Giyu is currently. He is a strong pillar, but he's no longer the OP figure he used to be. It's hard, if not impossible, to keep up with protagonist powers after all. I'll talk more about how I think Rengoku would fare against Giyu when I eventually make that How Strong Is Rengoku video. However, if you did enjoy this one, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. Remember, if we hit 4,000 likes, I'll get started on the next one ASAP. Remember to vote for either Rengoku or Muzan on Instagram at AnimeUproar. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell because you won't get notified when the new video drops if you don't. A big thank you goes out to our patrons over on Patreon who help make videos like this one possible. I especially want to thank our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Angel Cruz, Steelers, Poet Pablo, Atropos Wraith, $50 Beat, Ekra GN, Anatoly Kazatsky, DJ Nathaniel, and Mateo, and are the 1 tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Steven Ingrata, Alola Anatem, Matty Mac 239, Makoto Kun, and your boy Seth. If you enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also now join the YouTube channel and support more content that way if you prefer. You'll get the same great benefits no matter which way you choose to support us. And until next time, see you, Space Cowboys.